So joining me to discuss Snowden's call for tighter privacy regulations is Philip Holloway. He's the founder of the Holloway Law Group. Mr. Holloway, happy holidays to you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Rochelle. How are you?
Oh, we're great. We're great here. So Edward Snowden said that children will grow up with no concept of privacy. Let's talk about what privacy means in the age of Facebook, Twitter, social media. Of course, when you're talking about social media, obviously you're making a choice to share a certain amount of information. But what does privacy mean in this current age?
Well, we Americans traditionally value our privacy to the extent that our founding fathers enshrined it in our Constitution. The Fourth Amendment guarantees Americans the right to be free from unreasonable government intrusion and unreasonable searches and seizures of our private things, our papers and our effects. And in the modern age, that would include, I think, all of our social media. And so I think Americans may sympathize, and this message of his may resonate, that this unparticularized, massive surveillance of your average ordinary citizen is very troublesome. But the way that he went about exposing it, I think, is troublesome. In fact, I think it goes so far as to be treason. He defected to China and ultimately is giving televised messages from Russia. And I think this kind of reminds those of us who may remember back in the Cold War era, where people would defect to the Soviet bloc, and then they would come out and give TV interviews denouncing the United States and things like that. So I think really he might have a different agenda other than getting his truth out.
Interesting. Has he really denounced the U.S.?
It seems that way. It sort of seems like what he's doing is bypassing the route that he has. As a former military member myself with a security clearance, I can tell you that there are ways to, if you want to be a whistleblower, if you think something is going wrong, you can take it to Congress. There's other routes within the law that he could have gone through, but instead he chose to defect and went straight to Russia.
Let's talk about this then. Let's talk about it. You said yourself you have had a high-level security clearance. If there was something that you felt as deeply about as he did, in fact, some of the things that he has exposed, what would you have felt compelled to do? I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, there's a lot of different procedures in place, and it really depends on what agency you're in and what the certain circumstances are that you're faced with.
Because he has forced a very important public conversation, has he not?
He has, absolutely, and I can guarantee you there's a lot of people, myself included, that agree that this spying program on the average citizen of the United States has gone way too far. Those of us who have cell phones and things like that we carry with us, we don't expect the government is going to be watching our every move. But he did have other things he could have done. He could have gone to Congress. He could have gone secretly and privately to Congress. He could have gone through his chain of command within his own agency and worked within the law. But from everything that I've heard and everything that I've read, he chose not to do that. He went straight to China and ultimately wound up in Russia.
I'm sure the conversation will continue on many levels. Mr. Holloway, again, thank you so much for your time and your insight today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.